I think we are now. Yep.
A slap on the water. Have you been on the water and heard a loud slap and wondered what it was? More than likely you just heard one of the telltale signs that you're within a beaver's territory. I remember my first time, me and my dad were muskrat trapping, and we got up before dawn to set our muskrat traps so that someone else doesn't move in our territory. We heard a loud slap. I asked Dad if that was a beaver. My dad replied, yes. He then explained to me that when beavers get scared, they slap their tails as to signal to other beavers that danger is in the area. Having worked as a nuisance beaver trapper for the township of Bradley, I've seen beavers in all the habitats they occupy. From rivers to ponds, they can adapt to almost anything, as long as they have water. Having trapped them, I've come to appreciate what they do. Today we're going to explore beaver behavior, the historical significance of beavers, and new beaver conservation ideas. This is a beaver. For starters, let's look at the beaver sign and what they leave behind. Beaver sign is not hard to find, but oftentimes is confused with human cutting trees with axes or snips. Beavers have 4 main structures they build, which are the lodge, the dam, and the feed pile and den. The lodge sticks out of the water 46 feet. Beaver build it with sticks and mud. It's where the beavers have their kits live, in their chamber. It's usually in deep water. Beaver feed piles are made out of trees and stick out about a foot at most. Located close for food, so kids have easy access to the food. A beaver den is where beavers bore a hole to the side of the river, usually on a steep bank. It's where they sleep and eat because they're trying to get the roots of trees. Also, it's primarily used by the adult beavers. A beaver dam is where the structure made of sticks, mud, and rocks, used to block streams and create small ponds to build a lodge. A lesser known thing beaver do is make runs. This is where the beavers go up on the bank and down back again, cutting trees. It's very distinct because it's usually in a well-grassed area and there's mud showing. It also can be made with a castor mound during mating season. Beaver's diet mostly consists of trees, but beaver will also eat lily pads, stuffed potatoes, even corn when available. They're not a picky eater, as long as the food source is within the water or close on the bank. Interesting facts about beavers. According to Beaver Facts, beavers were once considered a fish by the Catholic Church so that their tail could be eaten during Lent. Another interesting fact is, according to frequently asked questions, beaver, wetland, and wildlife, beavers in captivity have been known to reach the age of 30 years old. In the wild, the beaver's life expectancy is only 10 to 12 years. That's a third less due to predation. There are 2 species of beavers, the American beaver and the Eurasian beaver. Of the 2, Eurasian beavers run heavier on average, but the American beavers have bigger skulls. The beaver was dangerously close to being wiped out in America because their fur was valued by the wealthy. Let's look at the historical importance of beavers and what drives them towards extinction in America. In the early 17th century, beavers were nearly extinct in Europe. Only small populations tucked away in the mountains were surviving populations left alone. Coincidentally, the North American continent just started getting colonized. With abundant beavers here, they started trapping and hunting them more, and they slowly moved westward as the demand was fueled by the wealth because of the fur hat market. The beavers were nearly wiped out through the lower 48. Modern history, 1903, beavers were nearly extinct in Wisconsin. 1917, allowed the first complaint beavers to be trapped after their near extinction. 1948, beaver trapping was allowed statewide, albeit short, like a week at a time. They grew over the years until 1985, registrations of beavers ended. In 1990 is the regulations that we currently are under. The beavers have rebounded in America to the point where they are considered a nuisance, but there's a new conservation strategy. Most of you think that beavers are a nuisance and that are very good at plugging culverts and chopping down trees, but you're right in thinking that. Modern conservation at the time calls for the removal at a time called for removal of the entire family. According to the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, studies have found evidence that showed increasing beaver populations can decrease wildfires and help elk populations grow, because during droughts, the beavers make ponds and they store water that otherwise wouldn't be there, which also fuels prairie grass, which is native to the area, which the female elk relate to. Research from the Wisconsin DNR has shown that beaver raise water temps in streets to unstable temperatures for native trout to thrive. So there's a balance. We can't just have beavers in one area and have trout. You need both of them to have a well-functioning stream, because if you have too much old growth, there'll be old growth forever, and it won't allow new growth, which gives diversity. And diversity is where animals thrive. Beaver outside their native range. In 1946, the Argentina military flew 20 beavers from Canada to Tierra del Fuego. They have the opposite problem that America does. They have to eradicate all the beaver because they are destroying native vegetation and have made their way to the mainland. Also have allowed muskrats and mink to take a foothold as well with decreased pondage. Since the trees in South America have not evolved to withstand beavers, they don't regenerate like poplar or ash do when they're chopped down by beavers, because they have natural regeneration. In South America, they rely on growing through seeds, not by poplar branches falling to the ground. As you can see from the facts presented to you today, that beaver are here to stay in the United States and play a major role in help creating less wildfires in the West. Their habits help flourish abundant populations of game long before modern man got here. The future looks bright as more studies come up on how they help forest regeneration.